Reading books and taking classes are great for gathering new ideas, but when it comes to learning how to do something, it is important to get hands-on experience. As the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Donald and I both found this to be true. His fall was much more public and severe, while mine was more private, but still painful. After getting sales training from Xerox, I started a nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business with 2 friends. Though it was not as successful as I had hoped, I learned a lot from the experience. Unfortunately, our business was incredibly successful. We were 3 young, single men who had made it big. Our products were featured in Runner's World magazine, GQ. One day, my partner showed up in a brand new Mercedes 450 SL, and when we asked him why he bought it, he replied, "Because we're rich. Why don't you guys get the cars of your dreams, too?" So Larry and I followed his lead, getting 450 SLs and silver Porsche Targas with black trim. We were living the high life, driving fast cars and living beyond our means. Unsurprisingly, things didn't end well. As you know, our success was short-lived. Our business rose quickly, but it fell just as rapidly. In less than 3 years, we went from having nothing to being incredibly wealthy, only to find ourselves in deep debt. If you want to learn from my mistakes and gain insight into the world of entrepreneurship, I recommend reading my book Rich Dads Before You Quit Your Job. It is full of useful information for entrepreneurs and is both entertaining and informative. When our income increased, we thought our financial IQ had too. Unfortunately, the only thing that went up with our income was our own foolishness. That business failure was one of many defining moments I have had in business. The failure and the loss of nearly $1 million was my wake-up call. I had not been a strong advocate for education up to that point in my life. I did not think education was important. In school, I just got by. I was happy to be a C student, as my poor dad often said about me. "You're getting by on a shoeshine and a smile." After that business failure in my early 30s, I realized I was way behind the learning curve. I saw people my age further ahead in life simply because they had taken their education and their professional careers seriously. That business failure made me realize I needed to become a student, to study like I had never studied before. For a number of years, instead of running from my failure, I worked to rebuild the business. I wanted to rebuild the business to find out what I did not know. What things had I overlooked? What had I not seen? They say that hindsight is 20/20. For me, hindsight was not only 20/20, it was painful. I had to face all the BS I had been telling myself. I had to face the lies I told myself and told others. After a few years of humility, the nylon wallet business was back on its feet. It was successful and profitable. It was the best education in business and the biggest dose of humility I have ever had. While going through that process in 1980, I attended a seminar featuring Dr. Buckminster Fuller. My life had changed yet again. Even though my business was successful and profitable by 1984, I resigned and moved to Hawaii with Kim. I became a reacher, a profession I despised and vowed I would never join. Kim and I traveled the world teaching entrepreneurship and investing from 1984 to 1994. We retired financially free in 1994, putting everything we had learned into practice. Kim was 37 years old, and I was 47. I went into hiding for 2 years in the mountains of southern Arizona, near the small town of Bisbee, where I worked on the CSH Flow board game and wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. In 1996, the first commercial game of cash flow was played, and on April 8, 1997, my 50th birthday, Rich Dad Poor Dad was launched at a small gathering at Sharon and Michael Lechter's home. Then, in mid-2000, a producer from the Oprah Winfrey Show called, and I had the opportunity to appear on the show. This was a defining moment in my life. Had I not gone through the experience of losing my nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business, I may never have become a student or a teacher. After a business failure in my early 30s, I realized I was way behind the learning curve. I saw people my age farther ahead in life simply because they had taken their education and their professional careers seriously. This business failure was my realization that I needed to become a student, to study like I never studied before. Robert Kiyosaki. What have you learned from your own or someone else's business mistakes? What have you learned from your own or someone else's business successes? Do you own your own business? If not, do you want to? What ingredients do you believe are most necessary for a business to succeed? What do you admire about successful business owners you know?